It's honestly hard to imagine how things inside Donald Trump's White House could possibly get any worse. The president has his own mountain of problems, of course, but the rest of his administration is an absolute disaster. Pete Hegseth looked completely out of control at those bizarre Fox Awards. Carolyn Leavitt manages to embarrass herself on a near-daily basis, and now Stephen Miller and his wife are back in the spotlight for all the wrong reasons as a major scandal involving them has resurfaced, this time with serious legal consequences. We're going to break down everything that's happening, but first, if you're enjoying the show, please take a moment to leave a like and hit that subscribe button. It really helps support what we do. Now, Stephen Miller has long been the architect behind some of the cruelest and most legally questionable ICE raids carried out under this administration. But what's coming to light about what's been happening privately, particularly involving his wife, may be even more disturbing, and the implications, both moral and legal, are enormous. To understand the full scope of what's going on, it's important to look at it in the context of this new report from Rachel Maddow.
Been laid to a piece of spyware, cell phone spyware called Pegasus. It's spyware that infects your phone. They target your phone. You don't have to do anything wrong to be infected with it. You don't have to click on anything or do anything. They infect your phone with this spyware without you ever knowing it. Your phone shows no sign of it. And once they have infected your phone, they get access to everything that is on your phone and everything that you do with your phone. They can access its location at any time. They can turn on the microphone to hear what's happening where you are. They can turn on the camera to see you and what's around you. They can see all of the photos on your phone, all of your contacts, all of your messages, all of your notes to self, everything, even stuff that you might think is encrypted. It's not encrypted when you look at it on your phone. If you can look at it on your phone, they will have it. People close to Jamal Khashoggi were found to have been targeted, to have had their phones targeted with Pegasus software before he was murdered. Pegasus has been used to target opposition politicians and activists and lawyers and journalists all over the world, some of whom have subsequently been assassinated by despotic regimes. When this kind of a spyware surveillance tool emerged as a favored weapon for authoritarian governments and murderous dictatorships around the world, the Joe Biden administration banned the U.S. government from ever using that particular spyware or anything like it. Well, then Donald Trump was elected, and the Trump administration has now quietly reversed that ban. And indeed, they have now contracted with a company that makes exactly that same kind of spyware as Pegasus. And which part of the Trump administration is using it? Which part of the Trump administration has been given this surveillance tool? ICE. And are they using it just against immigrants? Yeah, right, as if. Headline in the Washington Post. ICE amps up its surveillance powers. ICE's acting director says the agency will deploy its elite investigative officers to probe anti-ICE protest networks. Former officials have expressed concern that ICE now has a green light not only to monitor immigrant communities, but also to carry out broad surveillance of Americans, exercising their First Amendment right to oppose government action.
Donald Trump wants constant surveillance over the American people, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and that should terrify everyone. This administration has quickly become the most aggressively anti-free speech government in modern U.S. history. Trump will eagerly defend anyone spreading hate, racism, or xenophobia online, but the second someone dares to criticize his administration or speak out against U.S. support for Israel's ongoing atrocities, he's ready to silence them, even through imprisonment. Meanwhile, Stephen Miller has stepped in to publicly justify these authoritarian moves, offering one of the most extreme and chilling defenses imaginable during a recent Fox News appearance.
Look, I hate to say it, Sean, but Democrat leaders are siding with the domestic terrorists. Antifa is waging, as I explained in that clip you played, daily violent assault against ICE officers. They are attempting to physically prevent ICE officers from doing their jobs, using every means imaginable, including, of course, as we saw just a few weeks ago, attempted murder. And then we saw a few days ago another attempted murder through a vehicle ramming attack. It is unceasing. Day after day, night after night, Antifa terrorists, as was explained to the event in the White House today, are trying to kill ICE officers, attack ICE officers, threaten their families, dox them, and do everything in their power to try to prevent Immigration and Customs Enforcement from getting violent criminal aliens out of this country. Now look at what happened by contrast in Washington, D.C. When President Trump's program was put in place, when local leadership embraced the Trump plan, the Trump program, what happened, Sean? It's never been more peaceful. People have never felt more free. As President Trump said on your show tonight, they're going out to restaurants, they're going to monuments, they're taking lovely strolls in the evening with their loved ones. The only people who have lost are the criminals, the gangbangers, the drug dealers, the criminally illegal aliens. The Trump plan has brought historic safety to one of the most violent cities on earth, Washington, D.C. That's what President Trump wants for Chicago. That's what he wants for Portland. That's what he wants for Los Angeles. And yet Democrats are on the side every night of the gangbangers, the predators, and now even the domestic terrorists.
So keep all of this in mind. Stephen Miller wants to spy on you. Stephen Miller wants to call any language that is not approved by this authoritarian regime domestic terrorism. Stephen Miller wants to go after you. All the while, he says that he's the victim. He is the victim of the mean attacks. He's the victim of his wife being stolen by Elon. And he's the victim now, apparently, of the distress that a 66-year-old woman has caused him and his wife. It's all blowing up in his face after this lawsuit has backfired. Feds tried to nail Senior 66 for looking at Stephen Miller's wife. A federal magistrate twice denied FBI bids to search a 66-year-old woman's phone, stalling the DOJ's Stephen Miller doxing probe against her. Magistrate Judge Lindsay Valla on Wednesday refused the Bureau's request to examine the smartphone of activist Barbara Wien in a case that the Justice Department says involves doxing of top White House advisor Stephen Miller and looking at his podcaster wife Katie Miller. The White House believes that we should be prosecuted after she was seen posting flyers in Miller's neighborhood saying he was not welcome in Arlington, Virginia. The posters had a photo of him crossed out in the message, "No Nazis in Nova." It also featured a QR code linking to a local activist's Instagram account, according to affidavits described by Axios. Weeks earlier, Arlington's elected prosecutor, who had asked a state judge to narrow a separate phone search warrant and restrict data sharing with the FBI, which Miller's people interpreted as an activist prosecutor trying to wreck their case. The Justice Department intends to appeal. According to Axios, which reviewed court records, the outlet reported that a senior administration official fumed that Northern Virginia's justice system believes Trump's deputy chief of staff deserves this. Well, he does. The position of the judge and the justice system in Northern Virginia is that Stephen Miller deserves this, so it shouldn't be investigated. A senior administration official told Axios this is just about gathering evidence to see if there should be an arrest, and the judges are blocking it. Wayne's attorney countered that she broke no laws. The case has become a proxy fight over free speech and safety in the capital's Virginia suburbs and stemmed from a confrontation that became September 11th, one day after conservative activist Charlie Kirk was killed. Investigators say Wien then passed the Miller's house and flashed an "I'm watching you" gesture towards Stephen Miller's wife Katie, which was captured on Secret Service surveillance. The DOJ alleges potential violations of Virginia and federal doxing laws, but Wayne's lawyer, Bradley R. Haywood, says that the speech was lawful and her phone is being unlawfully held. While Stephen Miller isn't busy ordering mass deportations or targeting immigrants and veterans alike, he's acting like the ultimate neighborhood complainer. Basically, a one-man HOA trying to control everyone around him. Stephen Miller is the definition of a busybody, and honestly, he and his wife are just unbearable. When I first saw her, I thought, okay, she seems normal enough. How is she with him? Then I heard her speak, and suddenly, it all made sense. She's just as unpleasant as he is. Now the two of them are losing in court because, newsflash, calling Stephen Miller a Nazi, which, let's be honest, isn't far off, isn't against the law. Neither is telling his wife, hey, maybe tone it down with that awful podcast. Her whole shtick about conservative women being victims is ridiculous. Do you know who conservative women are actually victims of? Other conservative women. They constantly undermine each other. It's mind-boggling that anyone could vote for Donald Trump as a woman. Either you despise yourself, other women, or you're so blinded by prejudice that you can't see straight. Look at Marjorie Taylor Greene and Nancy Mace. They both whine about being treated unfairly by their own party, saying it's because they're women. No, it's because their own movement doesn't respect women, period. These people prop up the very system that devalues them, and it's exhausting. Honestly, I'm so tired of having to see Stephen Miller's soulless stare on my screen. He and his wife represent everything toxic about this administration: hypocrisy, cruelty, and shamelessness. I know I'm venting, but sometimes you just have to say it out loud. And as if we needed more proof of how broken this leadership is, Chris Hayes perfectly summed it up right here.
It is a bad look to tear down the White House East Wing to build a fancy new gilded ballroom, or to post 25 photos of your new bathroom. 25. Just every angle, every way you could look at it, in the midst of a government shutdown while the air traffic controllers are working without pay. It's truly a Hall of Fame bad look on the day that SNAP funding lapsed and 42 million Americans had their lives upended, to be hosting a Great Gatsby-themed party at his palatial golf home in Florida filled with West Palm Beach rich folks dressed up like it's the Roaring '20s. You remember The Great Gatsby, of course, the novel about the idle rich people on Long Island who throw hollow, gilded parties to show off their lavish wealth just before the country collapsed into the worst depression it's ever seen. All this is not going unnoticed. Sometimes it feels like no one notices this stuff, but this is getting noticed. This was the message that was projected in Washington, D.C. this week. Trump parties at Mar-a-Lago while 42 million go hungry. It's no wonder why Republicans are starting to feel some political.
Is anyone else feeling completely worn out? Seriously, hands up in the comments if you're exhausted. Even Donald Trump seems tired of himself at this point, reportedly dozing off during Oval Office meetings while the mainstream media just looks the other way. What more do we have to do to get them to cover the truth? I hope I'm not coming off as too negative, but I think those of you who watch this show get it. The mainstream press has let people down. And that's why spaces like this exist. This is where we can talk, vent, and stay informed together. It's been a challenging few months, honestly, a tough year. Even though we've celebrated some big wins lately. Still, I just want to take a moment to say how much I appreciate this community. You all mean so much to me, and I'm genuinely proud of what we've built together. I love you all for showing up, for caring, for fighting back. And yes, Stephen Miller still deserves all the criticism he gets. Forget that guy. But you're incredible. We'll keep speaking out, keep pushing back. And if you want to support this work, don't forget to subscribe, like the video, and drop a blue heart in the comments. And until next time, I will see you soon.